Hot stuff. If you have been feeling overwhelmed, anxious, super stressed, and feeling like that you get to points or days in your business where you don't really accomplish much and then all of a sudden you have 15 different projects and everything is due now and all of a sudden you're really stressed and you don't know what to do, I have the antidote to that. And I'm so excited about what we're covering today. And if you love the content, if you actually head to the description, there is a fun little worksheet and PDF download to accompany this episode. It is completely free, no opt-in required, but because I do love cash and assets, you can buy me a cup of coffee and you can see the link there. So let's get into it. I think if you can change your focus from present convenience to future benefit, you will be a better entrepreneur. And so many of us don't feel like doing things because quite often we don't get any benefit now. I have a random example. I was like today, my hair looks pretty okay. Do I wash and blow dry my hair? And I was going to put it off. And I know what would have happened if I would have put it off. I would have woken up on Monday morning with the world's fucking worst hair. It would have affected my whole day. And then I would have had to find time on Monday or Tuesday to wash it. So what I did is I carved out time in my schedule and I was like, let me wash my hair right now because I know future Peter will benefit. The same things to be said with the podcast. This is why I started to come in and record on weekends because I worked out that it's putting so much pressure on me to do this on Monday compared to, prep in the future because I don't want to get to the point where Monday is here and then I'm like, shit, we need to record a podcast. And I felt myself getting into, I guess, this like bad habit with the podcast where I would have to record and edit and think of an idea all on the same day. And the problem is with that, it made the experience feel so stressful. And I think that it is a skill if you can master the mental work that comes with, knowing what needs to happen, doing it without the procrastination and without leaving it to the last minute. And I think a lot of people here will say, I work best under pressure. Great, change. I feel if you're like, but this is part of my identity, you can change an identity. You need to realize that if you want a big business, continually having all parts of your business where you are on this continual deadline and continually stressed, if you are always stressed and you feel burnt out, but that's how you run, you have no one to blame but yourself. Like, go and look in the mirror and be like, this is the cause of that. Because if you and I don't think you realize the continual stress that has to happen. This used to be me. I would say all the time, I work best on deadlines, in online publishing, everything is so last minute. But I also realized that the reason that I feel like I work best on deadlines is because I've given myself no other option. If the article is due and I'm working last minute, I will get it done. So of course I'm going to have evidence that I work good on deadlines because that's all I'm doing at the moment. This is where we get to do something different. Now, this concept was introduced to me by my very first business coach, and it was the Eisenhower Matrix. And what you'll see in the worksheet, you'll see a nice little visual, and it's broken up into 4 different quadrants. Now, working with a lot of clients, I see that a lot of people are in continual firefighting mode within their business. They are usually stressed. The projects they want to do never get done. They're like, how have I been talking about this for such a long time and it hasn't actually actualized? And they feel like that they finished the week feeling very, very busy, but not really like they've accomplished anything. I will say too that if you feel like that you are just not moving the needle on important tasks, this is where everything that you ever dream of doing will actually get done because you will start to prioritize it and not get stuck down in all of the tasks that make you feel it's like this false sense of productivity. So when we look at the Eisenhower Matrix, you are going to have 4 different categories. We have do, decide, delegate, and delete. And then if we can imagine, we've got a column of urgent and then a column of not urgent. And then we have underneath of that a row of important, and then we have a row of unimportant. And then these different things will fit in that. And this is how everything is broken up. The first category of do. This is things that are urgent and important. And what you will probably find is that this is going to see you in firefighting mode. These are the crises that come up, important deadlines, and stuff that you have usually waited so long to do that now it becomes very urgent and very important. Quite often, a lot of the tasks that are important with no urgency, like projects and things that you've got to do, if you've got a course and you've got a curriculum or you have something with like a bit of a deadline in the future, quite often if you delay that, this is where this category can be really quite overloaded of stuff that you have procrastinated on, and now it is both urgent and important. So what we want to do here is ideally we want to handle these immediately, but we need to have a strategy in future. So what you can do each day is, I am a huge fan of creating my dream outcome of the day and what are the three most important tasks. But what you need to realize is if you are continually focusing on putting out fires in your business, would this be preventable if you actually were a bit more organized and had a bit more strategy? Then we go to the next category. This is decide. This stuff is important, but it is not urgent. Things in this category are stuff where there is usually no instant gratification. It is the thing that is going to pay off dramatically in future, but today it doesn't really feel important. So in this decide category, this is where we have things like our launches, our course creation, our strategic planning. Now, what we want to do ideally is we want to have like usually our CEO day or something within our calendar where we are working on, I guess, like the vision or the big things in our business where aren't just like the day-to-day of what we're doing. So if you are wanting to do a rebrand, if you are wanting to map out next financial year, and you'll see here, if you don't map out next financial year, this is where quite often you'll avoid it. And then it goes to that first category where it is both urgent and important, because all of a sudden it's July 1st and you have no fucking plan. Planning your new financial year right now is a perfect example of this category. Then we go down to the next category, which is delegate. And this is urgent but not important. So examples of this are usually notifications on your phone that continually go off. It is emails, it is DMs, it is the phone ringing. It is like the little notifications that pop up that usually will steal our attention and sometimes derail our day. Now, what we ideally want to do, if we can, is we want to delegate this. And when we look at delegating now, rewind 10 years ago, that looked like hiring a personal assistant, it looked like hiring a marketing person. What we can do now is we can ask ourselves, how can we then automate this? Can we delegate this to an email system? Can we delegate this to ManyChat? Can we delegate this to a bit more strategic planning and scheduling stuff? So now we're not having to go and do that. And what you can do is you can do a little bit of an audit on when your attention feels like it's breaking throughout the day. So for me, I turn notifications off on most of my apps. I have notifications off on my emails because every time I would get an email, I would feel my focus on what I was doing completely leave the project, and then I would open my inbox and I would get really distracted. And then the last category is delete. And there is going to be a whole shit ton of stuff in here that you absolutely can delete. Now, things like this look like mindless scrolling, doom scrolling, engaging in fights on the internet that don't really help your business. The amount of times that I hear people and they're like, I got into this Threads debate, and I'm like, why? Like, that's not actually helping your business. If you want to have an outlet and rant about something, create a fucking controversial piece of content and put that out there, right? Because you'll of course go viral if you're doing that, but not you engaging in this mindless Threads debate. Other things I see are people that kind of use social media for their business as this way to kind of like vent and be an outlet to things. We can delete that. So what we want to think about are in our business, what are the time wasting activities that we do that don't actually serve the business? I want you to audit maybe the last week in your business, or maybe you're going to do it this week. You are going to audit everything that happens in your business and fill this in every single day. And what we want to do is we want to see where your time is going and where your attention is going. Now, you can do this in one of two ways. You can create a big list of all of the things, and then you can use different highlighters. So you can have a highlighter for each category where you are breaking down, what do I need to do? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to delete? And then what do I need to, how did I forget that? Decide. Or alternatively, on the sheet, you'll see that there are 4 different quadrants. You can write everything that comes up in a particular quadrant. For me, my content should be around deciding. This is stuff that is important but not urgent. I want to move out of doing things reactively with my content creation so that I am not turning up each day being like, shit, I've got to post on LinkedIn. Crap, I need to edit a reel. Because what you find with this is you will be like, oh, it's only taking me 10 minutes, but it doesn't. Because within each task, you kind of have this like these little invisible bookends either side, where even though you think it's 10 minutes, you're really thinking about this task for like 25 minutes, and then you fuck around for a little, and then you do it for 10 minutes, and then you're like, oh my God, now I'm feeling really like, oh, that was just so much. And this 10-minute task of posting has now turned into like a 50-minute activity, which could have been a lot less if we would have just taken the time to plan. And what you will find here is when we start to think about our week like this, you will find that you will actually work less. And you will find you'll be able to kind of batch tasks and kind of be like, let me get into the flow of recording a podcast. Let me sit down and write the content. Let me go and do this. Instead of feeling like that you are continually breaking focus and changing gears, doing all of the things. Because let me tell you, like if I talk to a client or I talk to someone and they say that they are so busy, they are balls to the wall, my immediate thought is they must be doing a huge project, a huge moving needle project, like writing a book, creating an offering, or they must be so busy in client work or selling that they are making so much money. And if you are not getting the sales that you want, if you are still like broke bitch and you are not doing an important offer, what is happening with your time? And you need to be honest with yourself here, because the thing is, if you are working a full-time week in your business, and let's be honest, when you're an entrepreneur, it's more than full-time because you always think about what you're doing. But we want to make sure that we are looking at your outlay of time and what is happening in your week, and that you can be like, I finished up this work week and here is everything that I accomplished and here is everything that I have made. Looking at everything that happens within your week, this is where it's going to give you the ability to maybe sometimes just be really honest with yourself or see that how you are doing things just cannot continue. I think for a lot of you, you are going to find that if you feel like that you continually have a lot of urgent things in your business, coming up with a bit more structure and planning is going to be so advantageous to you. I feel a lot of people they want to be immune to structure. They want to work in flow. The problem is when you work in flow, you are spending so much time not just being creative, but also thinking about what to do and when. Structure is the framework, and you will find that when you have this, you will actually be more creative because you're not thinking about the how all the time. The how is decided. An example of this is what I say when I educate people on email marketing. You will find that you'll be more creative with your emails and you will send more if you just decide that you are going to send one a week, compared to being like, when am I going to email this week? I don't know what to do. Did I do that last week? Should I do that again? That the structure should be decided, and then you should be creative. The cool thing is with that is when you have this structure and you know what you're doing, it gives you the ability to pre-plan instead of turning up each day being like, shit, I need to do a piece of content. I need to email my list. And let me say too, I get stuck in this all the time where sometimes I will forget about things and I leave it to my future self to do. I think one of the best things that you can do in business is start to see if you do things for your future self, you will have a better business. If you are like, let me do this for my future self, even though I know I'm not going to get any instant gratification now, I know I'm not going to get the payoff, and thinking about future you where it doesn't really matter if you do it today or you don't, you're not going to see payoff for a while, you will have a better business. So when we move from being busy in our business, feeling really stressed, to effective on top of things, that requires intentional choice. That requires usually breaking up with a belief system that you have where it's like, oh, I'm just a stressed out person. Oh, I'm just disorganized. Oh, I just like to work last minute. Okay, great. Like, do you want this to be your future? Because remember, it's like as you grow a business and you get busier, everything intensifies. So the stress that you feel right now is probably going to double. Like if you want to double your business and you are not prepared to change things, how you are feeling is not going to ever get better. It is just going to feel worse. And I don't want that for you. So what you're going to do post this episode is, if you want, download that sexy little sheet, enjoy it, spend some time, brain dump it out, and really look at how we can plan our week ahead. Even if it is just deciding the important tasks in your business and planning that in your calendar so you are not working reactively, you will find that you feel so much better. You will feel so much more at ease in your week. And you're going to be less prone to meltdowns, because I don't think a lot of you realize the little micro stresses that we create for ourselves by not actually having an organizational system. So hot stuff. I love this. I love you. I love you more than I've got like fresh, clean hair. We had a little saga before at the office where I left my key card at home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, shit, it's Sunday. So we have this beautiful health club. We get to use the bathrooms, and I'm like, let me go and I'm going to have a shower and use all their products. I will give myself a fresh blow wave, and hopefully by the time this is done, someone will be at work and they can let me in. That is exactly what happened. So I love you more than the fact that I get to use a Dyson. So I love you more than that. I love you more than the Gilmore Girls. So I would say that I've seen the Gilmore Girls maybe like 12 times. My mother has never seen it. So Jan and I are currently rewatching the Gilmore Girls, and she hates Jess. I hate Jess as well. I was a fan of Logan. For Lorelai, I'm not really sure. Christopher, I always thought was hot. I love Luke, but I wish that he was like not, he's a bit too passive. Like, I think he should have just been like, Lorelai, I like you. We should go out. But instead, he didn't do that. So for me, out of all of the men, Logan, we are not there yet. If you are like, oh my God, you spoiled it for me, well, fucking watch it. You can watch it alongside us. I think Mum and I are like halfway through season 2. She has really gotten into it, which I love. So I love you more than that. I love you more than the convenience of Melbourne. Oh my gosh, we are so lucky, coming from a regional town to a place where my dad is visiting at the moment, and he caught up with my mom. We're not going to get into that. And his new, we'll say, I don't know if it's his girlfriend. Look, you don't need to know the family tea, but they caught up and I went and bought them a cake. I just like went to the shop, bought them the most beautiful cake. And we really do that in Maitland. Like, where would we go? Like, we had places, but I think here there is just like an abundance of choice. And I love when you live in a city, there is just always an abundance of choice. I don't like that in dating because I feel like that people just don't want to like commit to anyone. So I hate that part of it. But I love that whatever I need, it is literally like so close to me. It is wild. My little regional town girl self will never get over that. So hot stuff, I love you. Let me know how you find the sheet, and I will see you on the next episode.